we kind of felt that Ted and John could sustain a totally different story. They were two characters that were very strong in and of themselves, and so it was conceivable to do a sequel that would be worthwhile, because for me there's no reason to do it if you're going to repeat the same movie. It's not satisfying for the audience, and it's really boring for us. So it was fun to go in and just kind of figure out what we could do with these characters that would be completely different from what we did in the last movie. As amazing as it would be if a teddy bear came to life, at some point people would start to see it as the norm. They would have to. Human beings are very adaptable and very quickly adaptable. And so probably fairly soon after it happened, people would be like, oh, well, that happened, moving on. And we tried to keep to that idea, and we figured eventually the subject of what Ted's legal status is would come up. And human beings are inherently tribal. We have a need to kind of put people into little groups to our own detriment. And there probably would be some resistance to let a talking teddy bear into our club, in the same way there's resistance to let gay people into the club, and at a certain point in time, let black people into the club. There's always that resistance. Amanda has a line in the movie where she says, in every civil rights conflict, we're only able to recognize the just point of view years after the fact. We never see it while it's going on. We always think this time is different. And so that's probably what would happen. So we try to treat it as realistically as possible. And yeah, he'd have to get a lawyer. He'd have to go to court. He'd have to fight for his civil rights. Mark is fantastic because he's first of all brilliant at everything you ask him to do. He's a fantastic actor dramatically. He's a fantastic comic actor. And that includes both subtle verbal comedy and physical comedy. There's really nothing the guy can't do, and I think that's why he's sort of the biggest male star in the world right now. And I think Amanda is very much of Ted and John's ilk. It becomes this threesome, and you see as sad as John is over the loss of Laurie, that it becomes clear very quickly that this was probably the person who was more suited to him. And you just like her. I mean, Amanda's really funny. She brings it dramatically when you need her to, and again, she's just great to work with. Donnie wants to cut Ted open and figure out what makes him tick, and thereby manufacture millions of Teds for every child in America, including himself. And that sort of dovetails with our other story in that if Ted is left without any sort of civil rights, then Donnie and Hasbro can swoop right in, take him, and it's petty theft as opposed to kidnapping, and a big corporation can deal with that. Morgan Freeman is I mean, look, that was a huge coup for us to get him in this movie, and particularly for that part. The character is this fictitious civil rights attorney who's sort of the most predominant one in the country, and so we really needed somebody who, when you open that door to his office and he stands up, you instantly know that this is the wizard at the end of the yellow brick road. Tom Brady makes a lot of people happy, and he was game for everything. He was just he sold the moment. He sold the comedy, and somebody's an athlete, you never know what you're gonna get, and he brought it for us.